Hello everyone and welcome to a new YouTube series called Let's Build NT. This is a series of videos where I will take various builds of the Nekrium-Tempys Removal deck through the constructed queues and see how I perform. The reason I'm airing this series now is because my Twitch account is currently suspended for unknown reasons, and so I thought this would be a way to still keep in contact with my viewers. So what we're doing today is we're trying a build that's a little different since the second rebalance, because it's mainly Nekrium. It is Splashing Tempest for Ignir, which is because of the current popularity of the sort of infinity leveling decks, where having a late game threat such as level 4 Ignir is going to be really important. Varna Immortal King, same thing. Having this Wrath effect against a horde of Iron Mind gnome thingies is going to be important. So yeah, basically, the deck came from the fact that I have been playing Xerxes for a while now, and while he's really good, I wanted something like Patron of Tarsus to support him. Because Patron of Tarsus is basically an Epidemic on a body. And Epidemic has historically been a really good card, and it works really well with Xerxes because it means that the -1, if it doesn't kill something, you can actually play a Patron before and maybe chip something off with Xerxes after that. Plus, going mostly Nekrium means that Xerxes has basically no drawback because he's not going to shrink your own creatures. Grimgaunt Devourer as well has proven to be an incredibly solid card against the AU bot decks, the grow-wide strategies with the Spirian Scarabs and Lifeblood Dryad and all that stuff. And Leyline Demon as well is very good against the Relic Scouts played in that deck. So yeah, past that we have the usual removal speed, 3 Spiritcleave, 3 Death Current. We have the 3 Ebonskull Knights as our underdrops, as well as basically another removal spell. And then we have, past these 12 cards and these 12 cards, we have Varna, Immortal King, Immortal Echoes, and 1 Dreadbolt, 1 Epidemic. These 6 are basically our flex slots. All the 3 ofs I know I want 3 of. But these cards were just like, I needed Nekrium cards to support Patron of Tarsus, and I wasn't quite sure which ones I wanted to use. So this is the suite we're going for currently. So yeah, I will cut out now, and I'll return with the first match. See you then. And here we are back for the first match against JOLA Machine. So we'll see how this goes. This is with the Patron of Tarsus, Xerxes, NT deck. Right. This first turn we're going to be playing Ignir. None of these other cards really serve a purpose in the first turns of the game. Like, they're more situational. Ebonskull Knight usually only good when you can block something and trade, or just kill it. Grimgaunt Devourer usually better if multiple trades are being set up on the board, and Varna, well, something must have died on your side for that to be really playable. Trigger Ignir, all is good. Let's see what our opponent does for their first turn here. Okay, Relic Hunter and Scatterpour Eidolon. This tells me that they are playing some sort of variant of the AU bots deck, but with Scatterpour Eidolon, which is not a card you see that often, but it was boosted quite a bit in the last rebalance wave. So I can definitely see the logic behind playing it. So here we're going to play Grimgaunt Devourer, and I think then Spiritcleave is Eidolon. Because that card is going to cause us a lot of pain if it gets to trigger even once. And this way also, by keeping his board relatively empty, we are more or less forcing him to start playing out his Relic Scouts. And we have these Leyline Demons, which we really do want to level at this point, so that's going to be good for us. And the reason I'm playing the Devourer this aggressively, I could have played another Ignir instead, but having the Devourer on the board and leveling the Devourer is really important against this AU strategy. Because just simply level 2 Devourer, which grows by 2 attack and 2 health every turn, is going to be big enough usually to just take over the game from player level 2 and onwards. Because these decks usually don't play a lot of removal to handle a threat like that. And there we saw the Relic Scout and a War Machine. And the Leyline Demon popped in the exact right lane as well. Because now we get to play another Devourer, and then Death Current his Thunder Sword. Saving our other Devourer, making it even bigger. Like, there are virtually no creatures that on their own can trade with this Devourer at this point, so he'll need to block it at least twice. And we haven't spent additional resources growing it. Like, that's just incidental, which is why Devourer is so strong in this particular matchup. Happens now. What's been killed so far this game? I should really start writing that down. What's been killed so far? We've lost a Leyline Demon and an Ignir so far. So, playing Immortal Echoes this turn is not unreasonable, actually. It's not the worst place to be. Varna in this deck in particular seems not that bad because a lot of our creatures don't use the Forge keyword. Like, that's really where you don't want to be with Varna. Like, we have Grimgaunt Devourers, which still keep their ability. We have Xerxes, who keeps his ability, and we have Ignir, who also keeps his ability, and who wants to be blocked badly. That is one of the better cards he could block this with, except for the fact that we have this Patron of Tarsus, which is going to destroy this Thundersoar quite badly. So yeah, unfortunately, there's not much we can do about this Arcflight Squadron, so I believe we will actually just play Immortal Echoes, and go from there. It might be unfortunate. Yeah, we hit the worst possible here. But this could have been worse because he could be playing cards like, whatchamacallit. He could have been playing cards like Leyline Sentry, I believe is the name, which would really punish us for playing cards like Immortal Echoes. Because Leyline Sentry is the Leyline card with the best stats at level 1, and 2, and 3. Like, just overall the most solid stats. Leyline Demon, on the other hand, is quite tame at level 1. And we cannot punish him for this Relic Scout because we do not have any demons in our hand. Place a Spirit and Scarab. Something tells me that there's going to be a War Machine here, otherwise this does not result in a trade for him. That, or he uses his free robot play on the Scarab, he plays something else, and then he plays a Lifeblood Dryad. And that looks like his play here, so he's going to trade... Oh, War Machine still. Well, that also works for him quite well. Okay, so we're definitely opening on a Patron of Tarsus here. Question is what we're playing afterwards, whether we're playing Ignir or Xerxes. I think I like playing Xerxes here, based on the fact that it really takes over this matchup a lot of the time. We could have played that better. We could have played the, there were other ways to do this. We could have blocked with the Xerxes, which I think would have been the right play actually on the Arcflight Squadron, to keep another creature on the board and then tried to set up a trade with the Patron against the Spirit and Scarab. But here we see the strength of Patron plus Xerxes, because if he doesn't replace this or grow its health, I get to Patron into the Xerxes activation next turn and actually steal this Spirit and Scarab. So we're doing quite well for now. This is the matchup that I really do want to test this deck against, because this is sort of what it's built to beat. Alright, so looks like our opponent has a decision to make here, which could either tell us that his hand is quite bad, like it's full of level 1 cards, and he just has to decide which one would be less awful for him to play, or he has, well, Scatterspore Eidolon doesn't level that well, so I can understand why he would need to make a decision there. Okay, yeah, so the play we talked about with Patron into activate this is going to be really good. So we get to play Devourer in the offlane. We get to play Patron. Yeah, I messed that up. Oh, crap. That's embarrassing to do on video. Yeah, I didn't see that I had the Ignir, so I would have had to play Patron first, then activate this. Okay, yeah, I haven't played a lot with the Patron cards, but they should really be played as if they were allied cards, as in you should always play them first. So yeah, that's gonna punish me, I'm afraid. But that serves as a lesson in how to play these cards, I guess. Yeah, and he gets to play the Lifeblood, kill these two with no punishment on his end. This is not good for us. And this hand we have currently, it just doesn't really do anything. So yeah, this is backfiring in the worst possible way right now. And we basically just have to Death Current. Well, at least we hit. We can't really Spiritcleave, so we're just going to play another Death Current. At least, again, we have this level 2 Grimgaunt going, and it's going to be difficult for him to just trade with it at this point. But yeah, we got severely punished for that misplay last turn. But again, this Grimgaunt may just pull this out for us. And if he plays a Relic Scout this turn, we could easily pull back ahead because of this double demon hand. We get to play 2 demons for free, and then we might do something like Grimgaunt into Epidemic next turn. So, yeah. It is what it is. It happens. Alright. So, what options would my opponent have as to how to trade with his Devourer? That is not one of them. That is a rather underwhelming play from our opponent here. I'm just going to play 2 creatures to trade with his board right here. Just do like this. Grow our Devourer substantially. Like plus 8 health, so it's going to be a 29-19. Which he will not be able to kill readily. And just hope that that's going to be enough. So yeah, again, as I mentioned earlier, this is just basically a trump card in this matchup. Even with that massive blunder I made earlier, where I would have had gotten 1.5 Epidemic level 2, 1.5 Epidemic level 1 for free if I played it correctly. Even missing that, I'm still pulling ahead with this massive Devourer. And yeah, not even that's really going to do anything for him. So what I'm going to do here is just play another Devourer, and then play an Ignir in this lane, to hopefully trade with this Thundersoar as soon as possible. And whatever this hits, unless it's the face, that would have been good. But hitting any of the 2 creatures would have been much better. But we didn't get that lucky. This next hand from us, though, is not impressive. And that could really see the game spin out of control for us. Again, if he doesn't play something that actually trades with this Devourer, he's still in major trouble. And that's just sort of the strength of this Devourer. Like, every time a creature deck without adequate removal has sort of taken over the meta, Grimgaunt Devourer has always come in to sort of fix that. So if he has... Okay, so he still does not have anything that can trade with there. Well, that is bad for him. Okay, so what I'm thinking here is we play Patron into Epidemic, which is big enough to trade with his Eidolon, and puts the least possible damage on our 2 Grimgaunts. So at this point we have 2 creatures that he simply cannot deal with. And this should be able to pull us out of this one. Yeah, and he just straight up concedes. Alright, I'll mention right now, this is apparently an earlier version of the deck. The one Dreadbolt that you saw in the introduction is not actually there. It's the second Epidemic instead, which was good against this particular matchup. But there we go. And we're going to open this prize pack. Hope to get lucky. Come on. We were not lucky. Alright, see you for round 2. Hello and welcome back to round 2. As you can see on my clock, I have been a while. I was making coffee. So there we go. Anyway, first turn Xerxes. Again, all of these cards are very situational. Epidemic doesn't do anything. These guys just die to whatever. And Varna doesn't trigger. So... Oh, wait. I completely missed that. He played Enduring Vitality. Jeez. Okay, so, considering that, we're going to play Grimgaunt Devourer as well. Okay, Enduring Vitality. That sounds like a good matchup. Because that's going to be all about the creatures. And a lot of them. So we're going to just... Like, their odds are very high that we're just going to play double Patron, activate Xerxes, and be done with it next turn. So, yeah. Ah, that is hot coffee. Yeah, as expected, he's just playing a bunch of creatures. So once again, Patron, Xerxes, which makes our Xerxes survive, but still trades here, unfortunately. But leveling these patrons, because they get a lot better as the game progresses, is going to be really strong. Like, if what you're going to be facing is just a lot of Grow Wide, this seems like the deck to be playing. Simply by the virtue of it having 8 sort of mass shrink effects in the deck total. Okay, so that's another Vitality into a Patron of Deepwood. We're going to play a Xerxes, and then we're going to play an Ignir. Alternatively, we could level an Epidemic, but he has to pump his board or replace this Patron next turn, otherwise the Xerxes is just going to steal it. Would have been good to hit one of his creatures there, though. So what we really just got to be mindful of is not to die too early in this matchup. If we can keep our head above water as much as possible, we could pull this off. Packmaster, eh? Okay, that's interesting. And Oros, Jesus. Well, I would have liked to have an Epidemic here, that's for sure. Okay, so I'm thinking we're going to Spiritcleave this, use Xerxes to steal his Patron. That's the perfect spot. And, you know, I think just level another Xerxes trading with this. And hope that our Ignir can attack us. He did not. This Ignir has been pretty useless so far. This next hand is not amazing, in any sense of the word. But we have level 3 Xerxes at this point, so we're not doing too badly. Sharklaw Crusher. Really? Oh, they buffed this a lot. She's used to be 3/3 at level 1. This is different. Well, good thing we're playing a lot of removal. Okay, so he's doing that. I think we're just gonna go double Ignir. Hope to kill the Oros. And we did! Wow. The first two were misses, but this is perfect. We have the Spiritcleave here, which is probably going to do quite a bit of work. Like, basically, no matter what he plays, we're probably just going to Spiritcleave one of them and play another Ignir and hope and pray that it works out. Still at relatively high health. We're actually ahead on health. Well, there's our Spiritcleave target. Unless he runs out like a Packmaster. Well, obviously we have to Spiritcleave whatever is biggest, so probably just going to kill the Patron. But again, if he plays like, yeah, that's a good Spiritcleave target. Battle, Ignir, not blocking, because we want this one to survive. We also want it to hit the Patron. They both hit the Patron. Nice. Okay, I think we're going to prioritize Patron over Xerxes at this point. Because we've leveled a bunch of Ignirs, so we're going to be shrinking our own army a lot of the time. And the immediate and surprising effect of Patron is going to be a lot more valuable than the ability of Xerxes, which he can easily set up for. So yeah, that's how we're doing it. 14-12, yeah, still pretty good stats, considering he got nerfed. I really want to draw the other Patron here. We did. Oh, we did get to level the Grimgaunt. Never mind. Oh, right. We play one turn 1. That afterthought. But 2 of these things is it's not good for us. Let's see. The game is taking a while actually passing the turn, as you can see by the on the offensive ring still being apparent on the cards of our opponent. Ah. There we go. So I foresee something like Dude into Dryad. Doesn't look like he's playing free cards, so these demons are not going to be active this game, I don't think. But we get pretty much our choice as to what we want to steal with Xerxes next turn, because we get to play Patron first if we want to. And this time there's no Ignir in the hand, I know, so we can play it in whatever order we choose. Okay, that complicates things. Still get to kill the Eidolon with this Patron, though. And if that's what he's spending plays on, I don't really mind. There's that Ignir. Death Current doesn't seem to be doing a lot in this matchup, though. Not a whole lot at all. And he's likely going to be trading with this Tree Folk and with our Patron, by way of some pump or whatever. Which means that this Grimgaunt is going to get +4. If he doesn't, we're going to keep our Tree Folk and our Patron is going to live, so... Yeah, again, that's like Grimgaunt Devourer just pumps naturally throughout a game. There's a blocker. Even if he does trade with our Devourer, we have a Varna, which can grow it back. Like, because if he's going to trade, it's going to be on our turn. It's bound to. Yeah, he disregards that. We get to block this with Ignir. And I'm thinking just play another Devourer in front of this Ruby Scale. Yeah, that seems like the right way to go. And if Ignir could hit the Ruby Scale, that would be good. He didn't, but Phase is fine too. We have the Xerxes, that's great. Okay, so trades. I get a massive Grimgaunt. That's good. What do we do here? I think Epidemic is a good place to be right now. And then Xerxes. Then we grow our guy quite big. Get to kill his Echo Wisp. It's nice. Oh, we have the double Patron hand. Yeah, whatever he's playing next turn, it's not surviving, and we're likely stealing one of them. So yeah, these creature matchups are really what we want to hit with this deck, because we have the Grimgaunts that just incidentally grow when trades happen, which they're bound to do, because that's the only way he kills things. And we also just have a lot of mass removal in the form of Patrons and Xerxes. That's completely fine. Yeah, that's still not too much for it. Actually exactly perfect, because we get to do this, and then steal the other one. Boom. And this should prompt a concession from our opponent. After next turn, we will also have 3 Ignir 3s in our deck, and Ignir 3 is where the card gets really stupid. Because it can't miss creatures anymore, it always hits a creature and the player. Which probably should have been dealt with in the rebalance, but oh well. Right. Yeah, he's not really doing much still. So what we can do here is we can like Spiritcleave Death Current and then click Xerxes. Perfect. Oh, it shrinks this too. Whatever. Yeah, if we hadn't done that, we would have just had lethal, but this is more fun. Like, the deck was out of reach for my opponent as soon as I played double Patron. I guess that's an inherent drawback of Xerxes, that he'll always shrink whatever he steals. So, yeah, that wraps up round 2. We have generally hit some good matchups so far, and I'll see you all back for round 3. And we're back with round 3 of the first series of Let's Build NT against Wrath of Croft of A1 Alliance, a former teammate of mine. We are going to open on... This is interesting, because I know the A1 guys have been playing a lot of Infinity lately, which would imply that we should open on Ignir. But I think the safer bet is always to open on Xerxes, so we're going to do that. Like before, when Ignir was a 5-5 at level 1, there would be no doubt I would open on Ignir, but as is, it's just not strong enough necessarily. And he's not playing that deck, so it works out for us. And we get to steal a Killian here. Unfortunately, he does have Forge, but we still get to steal it. So it looks like he's on the AU leveling deck. Which may or may not be a good matchup. The point is, we have to level this Ignir this turn, at least. But what we really want to do is to see our Spiritcleaves and get them leveled as much as we can, because that's going to be really important. Here I'm thinking we go Grimgaunt and Ignir in front of this guy. And hope to hit the thing. This is fine too. This is completely fine, because again, we still get to trade, hopefully. and our Grimgaunt grows. But him playing Killian does imply to me that we do get to trigger some demons later on in the game. Though next turn is likely going to be either Xerxes plus Grimgaunt or Xerxes plus Ebonskull. He's AU, which means that Xerxes is always going to be good. Because all of his creatures trigger on it. That's not going to do anything because we aren't playing free spells at all in this deck. However, he does have to replace it next turn because we play this thing now. And another Devourer. Kill two things. Grow them both. Just the trifecta of Patron, Xerxes, and Devourer is really powerful against most of everything. And this actually doesn't bode so badly for us because we get to pump our other Devourer quite substantially. And he now has two creatures that he needs to replace, otherwise we're going to steal one of them. And the Experience Sage is unique in that it enters the battlefield, it enters the field effect. It's not a forge, it is actually just an enters play, because otherwise it wouldn't work with the allied effect. So we get to level a card for free. That's pretty good. So let's see, we play this first for sure. Then we Xerxes. We got the right one. I think we're going to level this Patron, actually. And then we are going to battle, and then I'm thinking block this with Xerxes, because we don't want him to gain the health for free off the Oros, because this is a race matchup. We are basically racing against his late game Krogius and late game Oros, so we do not want him to have more than 60 health when we reach player level 4. And that's an Ambriel's Edict, which doesn't do too much. I'm going to play Patron into Ignir here. Alright, we're definitely hoping we can play the Spiritcleave this turn. We cannot. So what's going to happen is we play Grimgaunt and discard the Spiritcleave. Because we definitely want it available. Again, if Krogias and level 4 Oros is what we're going to be facing at the end of this game, we want our Spiritcleaves leveled to deal with that. Let's just hope he doesn't have anything that trades with Grimgaunt this turn. Because then we could be in a very good situation. That doesn't quite trade with Grimgaunt. It does grow our other Grimgaunt, though. What's he got? And yeah, Ambriel's Edict does not do much against Grimgaunt if he doesn't have something like Energy Prison to give a defender at the same time. Okay, so these are relatively low health, so if he plays something with 7 or more health, he does. That is absolutely perfect. See you later, and we're going to discard the other one. Just to, again, make sure that we have as many Spiritcleaves as possible available later in the game. And yeah, we're pulling massively ahead on the back of these two Grimgaunts right now. And Research, that's likely going to get him to play a few Gnomes. Yeah, here are the trades. We are just going to play a couple of Xerxes as his next turn. The big one is going to go here, and the other one's going to go here. Doesn't really matter with the placement because we don't have anything with mobility, and neither does he, so the 5 lanes are the same thing, essentially. Which means we're going to shrink all of his creatures by 8 next turn, so he basically can leave nothing on the field. Yep, we're going to steal that. There's that. So yeah, Devourer, Xerxes. I'm going to shrink this, unfortunately, but that is what it is. Battle. To deal him 8. Now, if he plays Edict, that's not so good for us. But if we get lucky, we get to keep a 27 attack Grimgaunt. But if he Edicts and our Xerxes survives, and he's played something to trade with it in front of it, that's not good for us. Especially because this hand we have right now doesn't really do much. Yeah, he got lucky, but he didn't block our Xerxes, so he just dies here. Okay, there's that, 3-0. Right, that was quick. Those Grimgaunts really span out of control really quickly. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all for the final round of this, where we will check if we can go 4-0 with this current build of NT. See you all then. And we're back for the final round against Pequodor, the highest finisher on points at the end of the last year's World Championship race, not counting, well, that's counting the guys who actually qualified, including Pequodor himself, by winning one of the events. But he was the one with the most match wins. I was, in fact, number 2, not counting all who were qualified already. So, technically, I was actually number 1 after everyone had qualified. Yeah, 9th place. Sweet. Anyway, Pequodor. That's enough salt from me. Okay, so he went first. What did he play? He discarded. We don't have plays that really make sense here, so we're just going to play 2 Varnas. This is almost as bad as a hand could get for this deck on turn 1. Like, anything Xerxes, Patron, Ignir. Like, double Ignir would have been the optimal place to be. Okay, so it's one of those decks, which means Ignir and Xerxes are both going to be pretty good. We'll get to see whether he's playing AU or AT. Leyline Utero or Leyline-Tempys soon enough. But he's definitely doing energy surges. Okay, he is AN, Leyline Nekrium. He is playing the Infinity deck. And he is going at it right now. We get to trigger at least 1 demon here. The other one there's not room for, unfortunately. We're definitely discarding this other demon because we want to have them leveled. And discard the Patron as the other card. Grimgaunt is not going to be doing much in this matchup. We're just going to battle and deal him 4. So yeah, what we want here, because these decks vary in how quickly they actually finish the game, we want to level our... It's like some of them just rely on playing 5 creatures every turn, or as many creatures as they want every turn, and just overpowering the opponent. Which is a very faulty strategy against a card like Ignir. And other versions of the deck rely more strongly on... So anyway, replace this, play an Ignir. And others actually have a kill sort of engine with cards like Crypt Conjurer and just recycling Soul Harvests. Yeah, and unfortunately our board is full, so we don't get to get this demon for free. Oh, we do, because he plays an Edict. That's perfect. We got lucky. Okay, shrink this first. You know what? I think I'm just going to Death Current instead of playing Varna, because we'd rather just do the damage to his face than let a useless card like Varna at this point. But yeah, basically, the way he stays alive late game is just recycling... because his creatures have relatively low health, he just starts cycling through Spiritcleaves late in the game. That was what, a Dire Hound and... Yes, we have one more play. Okay, he plays that. Well, what I wouldn't do for a Death Current right here. Because that would just give us lethal, straight up. But we don't have one, unfortunately. What we're going to do instead is just kill the board as much as possible. Battle, Xerxes, and turn. Deal him 8. Yeah, there are those removal spells. But yeah, Death Current last turn would have killed either of his creatures, which would have made us deal either 9 or... 10. Okay, there are all of the energy surges. That was all 3. Yeah, nice. Probably still dead, because the best he's got here is Creature into Edict, which will kill everything but the Xerxes, and then we just have a Death Current that will kill whatever is in front of it, and he will be at gunpoint, so to speak. So yeah, basically his draw was way too passive to actually do anything against what we were doing. So what does he want to do here? Oh, shrink that Blade Edict. Yeah, that's pretty smart. That works. So we just play double Ebonskull and hope that he can kill both of them for next turn. And there's our Ignir. So if he just clears the board, we win just by virtue of that trigger. If he wins this game, kudos to Picodor, but I do know he is a very, very good player of this game, so there is that. That guy. And yeah, he's reshuffled at this point, so he can draw any amount of gnomes. But whatever he ends up playing, we do have some good chances of killing him off with his Ignir next turn. Shrinking that one. Interesting. Right, so he's just dead because we Spiritcleave this, battle, and then Ignir his face. And we got it. So yeah, that's a 4-0. That's a very good record to be able to show off for a new deck like this in a new series. It's a good start. We're gonna open this pack because why not? And let's see, what do we got? What's the legendary? Aegis Knight. I do have a set of those already, but oh well, 4-0. Can't really be too sad about that. So that concludes the first episode of Let's Build NT. I hope you all enjoyed. We got incredibly lucky, but that is step 3 in the program. Get ready, get good, get lucky, and get winning. And we hit at least, I think, the first and the third ones. Good is debatable because I haven't played this deck too much. At least not this version. And we won, so it's all good. But yeah, tune in for my streams whenever my channel is back up and running, if it ever will be. Otherwise, be sure to subscribe so you won't miss the next episode of Let's Build NT. Have a good one, guys.